okay? Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is actually a signal. And if you look at it that way, it's so different. It means something real is actually at stake when it shows up. It means you're close to something that actually matters. Because when does the enemy fight the hardest? When we're closest to that next level, when we're closest to the breakthrough, you will find that you always find obstacles and things that you never thought would happen will always happen around the time that God is moving you to the next level. But the enemy is trying to stop you. And the louder it gets, the more important it becomes to choose faith over it. Not just once, but every single morning when you get up. You were not given that spirit of fear. You were given, what do we say? Power, right? Love, a sound mind, and a calling that did not expire just because life got complicated. So the woman on the other side of the yes that you haven't said yet, she is absolutely waiting for you. And God, as always, is never late. Girl, if life handed you a plot twist, a divorce, a layoff, an empty nest, or you're just ready to reinvent your life and write the best chapter yet, you're in the right place. It's not a midlife crisis, it's a calling. Hey, I'm Lorianne, Christian AI business coach, single mom of 2 miracle babies, and the woman who rebuilt her entire life from her mom's living room floor while homeschooling my kids, working full-time, and earning my MFA in creative writing. And I built a 6-figure business doing all of it by the grace of God. We're putting God first, family second, and AI third. And God, He is never late. Hey, girl, and welcome back to the Midlife Comeback Club podcast. New episodes are still dropping every single Monday and Thursday. So if you're new here, welcome. And I would love for you to hit subscribe and follow so you'll never miss an episode. Okay, I need to ask you something. And I want you to be really, really honest with yourself, okay, when you hear what I'm asking. Have you ever really felt something pulling at you? Like a quiet, persistent nudge that just would not leave you alone? I know I have. And instead of saying yes to it, you just talked yourself right back out of it. Or you had the thought, you felt the excitement, and then maybe you even told another person about it. And then somewhere between that first spark and actually doing anything, fear showed up. Fear is so convincing, girl. And I mean, really convincing. It doesn't show up in just some scary mask that we think it should look like, right? It doesn't announce itself. It never does. It just will start asking you really reasonable sounding questions, which is really confusing because it'll say things like, oh, but what if it doesn't work? Or, but who am I to do this, right? Have you felt that before? Or, but is this really the right time for me right now? Maybe it's not the right timing. And before you know it, you've really talked yourself all the way back to just standing still and being right where you were before. And today I want to talk about that specific in-between moment that we have, the one where the yes is right there, and yet fear is working overtime to really make sure that we never reach it. And I want to help you figure out, is what you are feeling actually God calling you, or is it fear pretending to be wisdom? Because those two things can sound really similar, and confusing them, I think, has cost a lot of women a lot of years. So I want you to stay with me on this one because it really matters today. But before we dive in, I want to take just a second. If you've been feeling that nudge or that quiet Holy Spirit restlessness that's saying there is more for you than this, the Midlife Comeback Club community was built for exactly that moment. And it is a community for midlife Christian women who are done waiting and finally ready to build something meaningful with the story that God has already given them. Called to Coach, Built to Break Free is my new program inside the Midlife Comeback Club. There are 6 phases of faith-powered AI systems that you can implement into your current coaching business if you want, or if you're starting from scratch and completely building your coaching business from scratch. Because I had a lot of women come to me that said, yeah, I've had a coaching business for a while now, but I don't have it built for the new AI era. And I need to get these operating systems into place so that later I can build the AI workflows and build the agents out that need to be done, because that's where we're headed, folks, into the AI era. and you can have these AI agents be your employees. You don't have to have this huge team anymore. So I had a few women coming to me about that, saying that they would like to rebuild that way. And then I've also got brand new people who don't have any kind of business or are completely new to starting a coaching business. So I'm going to walk you through all of it. And it's a complete AI powered coaching business, I like to say, in a box that's built in 90 days. But you don't just get me for 90 days. That's where we build the foundation. You're going to get me for the entire year, which I know is nuts. Everyone's like, are you sure that this is really your incredible offer you're offering? And I said, yes, for VIP founding members only. I am including a bunch of bells and whistles inside of this specific offer that is open until this coming Sunday, July 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you feel that nudge, now is the time to jump in, because I'm never going to offer everything that I've included inside of this offer again. And you have to take advantage of it, because I really am on a mission to help women not get left behind when it comes to AI. And I will walk you through every single detail at the end of this episode. But if you'd like to go ahead and check it out, the link is in the show notes. It's LoriAnnFeely.com/called to coach, built to break free. That's LORIANN, F as in Frank, EELEY.com/called to coach built to break free. Got it. That's a long one, but that's what it is. And the link is in the show notes. But right now, I want to get into what we're talking about today. Okay. Because here is what fear sounds like in midlife. It's a little bit different. It doesn't sound really dramatic. It doesn't sound like a villain, I don't think. It doesn't sound like the enemy coming at you. It sounds like wisdom sometimes. I know for me it does. It sounds like I'm being cautious, or it sounds like, you trying to be really realistic and logical. So you'll say things like, I should wait until things settle down, or I should wait until I know more, or, maybe I should wait until I feel ready. That's a big one. And here's the thing, you could wait forever and never hit a single one of those benchmarks, because that bar will keep moving, girl. I mean, that is how fear keeps you exactly where you are. And you wake up one day, in a month, in a year, 2 years, 10 years, and you realize you're in the same exact spot you were before. So here's what I've noticed with the women that I coach. The closer you actually get to saying yes to something that God has placed on your heart, the louder the fear will get. I always say, new level, new devil, right? That is not a sign that you are going in the wrong direction, that we like to think maybe it's a sign we're going the wrong direction. It's actually can be a sign that you're going exactly in the right direction if you reframe that. Because fear will not waste energy on things that don't matter. Fear shows up when something real is at stake. That's what I've seen in my life. When the answer is no, fear doesn't even bother with you. It's like, whatever, I don't need to deal with her because it's not even in the equation. So fear, I feel, reserves its biggest performance for the moments when you're about to step into something that could actually change your life. That's when usually I get the most resistance, and the most things will go wrong. The most things will happen right before I break through to that next level. So now when I see those things happening, I used to think, oh, that's a sign that I'm not supposed to do this thing. But because I've witnessed what God has done in my life, where when those things were happening, then on the other side of that, a week later, something miraculous would happen and I would be like at a whole different level. I'm like, oh, that was what he was doing. So I see those obstacles so differently now. But the intensity of the resistance is often, I think, proportional to the significance of the breakthrough that's coming for you on the other side. So if you've been feeling resistance, if something has been pulling at you and fear has been pulling you back just as hard, I want to just gently suggest that maybe, just maybe, that is not a stop sign. Maybe that's confirmation that you're on the right path. But I want to tell you about a moment in my life that almost broke me. And I had lots of fear surrounding this moment. Because years ago, before I had babies and before any of this, I was pursuing my music career really seriously. I had a career as a singer, songwriter, musician, recording artist for many years. And I had this ultimate gig finally booked that was kind of the dream you dream about as a performer. It was going to be my big showcase. And I was supposed to be opening up for Crystal Gale, of all people, at BB King's in New York City. And Carnegie Hall, a performance there the night before, was also in the conversation. And I was going to be performing a solo piece there, which is kind of ironic because Carnegie Hall and BB King's are like two separate things. But that was the deal from the promoter. And I had said yes. And I said, wow, this is great. I had a lot of record label heads coming. I had a lot of promoters. I had a lot of the top people in the music industry that were going to be there. And as a result, a lot of my fans and a lot of my family and a lot of my friends, they had all booked tickets. They bought tickets to go to the events. And then they also planned their, travel plans to get there. And a couple weeks before this was actually going to take place, Wynonna Judd happened. And I don't know if you're familiar with Wynonna Judd. Love her. She's an amazing artist. And she ended up coming in and taking my slot. The promoter for the concert told me that they had a chance to have Wynonna Judd take the opening slot. I think she was performing at a bigger location, could have been even Madison Square Garden at the time, and she was going to be in town that week. And she was looking for another place to play during that week, and they were going to put her in the slot instead of me. And so after I'd done all this hype and everyone was so excited to go to this thing, and I myself thought that this was going to be my big breakthrough moment. It was the door that I had been walking toward for my entire life, to get that one moment in front of all of the record label execs. It had just slammed shut in a matter of just a couple weeks before the event. And it wasn't cracked, it was completely closed. And I remember the specific way I felt in that moment of disappointment. It wasn't just, oh, well, better luck next time. It was the kind of loss that makes you really question everything you've done for all of those years leading up to that moment. Because I had been singing on stage since I was 3. And I had been doing concerts and events and off-Broadway plays and music lessons. And it was just, and performing, on stage for my entire life. And this was the moment where I felt like I had paid my dues. I had done endless gigs at clubs and I recorded several CDs and all of those things. And you finally get this chance to showcase. And back then that was the thing, you showcase in front of these people. And that's usually when you get signed to one of the bigger labels. But the thing I figured out was that door didn't close because I wasn't enough. God wasn't late. He was just redirecting my life. And that door closed because there was a different one that I couldn't see yet, that was being built while I was standing there grieving the one that had shut. And it made me in turn become really fearful about my future. And I feared that I had missed my one big opportunity. And some mornings, even now, even in this season, I'll sit down with my Bible and my coffee before my kiddos wake up. And I can feel that old fear come up about new things in my life. The what if this doesn't work version, or the who am I to be doing this version, or I'm scared if this doesn't work out, or I'm worried about this family member, all of these different things, right? And on those mornings that I have those fears, I have a choice. I can let fear narrate my day, or I can just let God do his thing. And now I choose God every single time because I've seen what he's done in my life in the past. Even when it's really hard, I'll still choose him. And even when I don't know exactly how it's all going to work out, I choose God. Because here is what I've learned. Obedience is not the absence of fear not being there. Obedience is actually just choosing, I think, to move anyway, despite the fear. And there's a verse that I keep coming back to in seasons like this. It's 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Just think about that. God has not given us a spirit of fear, which means if fear is the loudest voice in the room right now, that voice is not coming from God at all. That's not your creator telling you to stay small. That's not the Holy Spirit counseling you to wait indefinitely. Fear is not a fruit of the Spirit. As he says, power is, love is, a sound mind is. And here's what strikes me about that verse every single time. God doesn't say, I have not given you fear, so you should never feel it. He says the spirit of fear is just not from him, meaning when fear shows up, and it will show up, You have the authority to recognize it for what it is and choose a different response. So you have the power, you have the love, and you have the sound mind to do that. That is the inheritance that he gives us. That is what God has actually given you. It's a gift. And the enemy's job is just to convince you that you have none of the three. So don't let him do it. And let's get practical now, because I believe in, as you know, soul work and the strategy always combined. So here are 3 things that happen when you let fear make your decisions and what you should do with it instead. Number 1, fear shrinks your vision down to the size of your worst case scenario. This is such a big one, right? We all do this. This is fear's first brilliant move, right? It takes everything that could go wrong and it puts that on a loop in your head constantly. The failed attempt at starting a business, the crickets with no clients, the wasted money, the time, the energy, and it plays that reel on repeat until the dream that you have starts to feel kind of foolish instead of possible. And here's what I want you to do instead, okay? I want you to write down your best case scenario, not the realistic, logical one, the full, like, no apology, God can do this one kind. What does your life look like if this actually works? What does your morning look like? What does your bank account look like? What is your freedom, your full life freedom, as I like to say? What does that look like? Because the vision that God gave you was not the worst case version. He doesn't want that for you. The vision he gave you is the reason the fear is showing up in the first place. So don't let fear be the only one with the vivid imagination here, okay? You need the vivid imagination to think about, what is my best case scenario? So give your faith the best version too, okay? And number 2, fear turns, I don't have a system yet, into, I'm not ready. This is good, girl. You're never going to have everything figured out before you start. I will just tell you that right now. I don't know anyone who has. I haven't, my friends haven't, my family hasn't. That is not how any of this works. And I say that with so much love because I spent a very long time, many years of my life, waiting to feel ready. And ready never came. That's the big secret. Ready never came. What really came instead was a moment where I realized the cost of waiting was so much higher than the cost of just getting out there and trying. What do you really have to lose? I didn't want to live with the regret of not trying. I think that would be so much worse if you think about that coming to the end of your life and realizing, especially in midlife, because we start looking at life through a completely different lens now. We're looking at the end of our life or the other next half of our life. And I think it empowers us to look at things so much differently. And that's why I love the opportunity we have as midlife women, because we start to look at life through a different lens. Like, what do you really have to lose? You don't want to go to your grave at the end of your life regretting never taking the chance, never just trying. It's a different perspective. And here's what I want you to understand about why I built this program called To Coach, Built to Break Free the way that I did. Because the problem was never your calling, and the problem was never your story that you've lived. The problem was absolutely never your faith. The problem I see all women dealing with is the infrastructure of trying to think about building a business or trying to rebuild the business they already have in the right way. And infrastructure is buildable. And that's exactly what my faith-powered AI systems take care of inside the program. It's not just some buzzword. It's a real specific method. It means using these AI tools in a certain way. Primarily at the moment, I'm using Claude. That could change in 6 months. We don't know. But for coaching, it has the nuance I believe you need to have right now in the coaching world. But you can use ChatGPT. You can also use Gemini and all the list of others that are out there. And I teach you exactly how to build the operational backbone of your coaching business so that you're not doing this alone and you're not doing it manually. because those days are over. This is a new era we're living in with AI. And we are talking about like your AI command center, your content system, your automated client intake and onboarding, your email sequences written once and just running forever, your social media going out while you're at your kid's baseball practice or you're lounging on the beach. Whatever that looks like for you right now in this moment in your life, you're just having a quiet morning with the Lord and not having to worry about how your business is running all the time. That is what faith-powered AI systems actually looks like in real life, which is why I'm so passionate about this, because AI handles the back end and you just show up for what you're called to do, which is coaching and spending time with your clients and connecting with them and transforming their lives. That's what God is calling you to do, not to be in all these mundane tasks, sitting behind your keyboard, pulling your hair out because you can't figure things out all the time. So I teach you how to build the foundation correctly so that that's not what your life looks like. And eventually you'll have these AI workflows running. And then after that, you'll have these AI agents who basically you're hiring them as your employee in your AI system instead of having to pay an employee $30,000 or $50,000 a year. You're training your agents how to do this. It's never been more possible than now to be a solopreneur. And that's why I get so passionate about this for midlife women, because AI is the great equalizer. You know, we're all on a level playing field again. And you have the opportunity to change your wealth, to change your future, to change the legacy for your family. It's all right here. And it all runs building this foundation. I have it set up for the 90 days where you're doing 90 minutes a day, targeting specific key things you need to build for your business. So the problem is not confidence. It's simply the infrastructure. And I built the infrastructure so you don't have to figure it out alone. But number 3, fear isolates you from the women who are already on the other side. And this is one that gets me every single time, because when fear wins, you don't just stay stuck. You're actually staying stuck alone. And I also did this for a long time. I didn't jump into programs or to be led by coaches. I was trying to always figure out on my own. And it was so much more difficult and so much harder than being mentored by other people who have gone before you and who've done it. So instead, you're sitting there scrolling and you're watching other women build these great businesses, and you're taking the free masterclass, you're downloading the PDF or whatever that is, and you save the Instagram post, and then you just close your laptop and you go back to your regular life and you kind of think about it from time to time. Oh, what if I did that? What if I had done that? Where would I be right now? And the women that are actually building, they didn't do it alone. They did it inside of a community. I've been with many of these women and they're all amazing. And they came together to learn what they needed to know, and they learned from each other. And it has such a meaningful impact. They did it with a coach. They did it with a system, and somebody walking alongside of them saying, yes, you can. Yes, this is absolutely possible. And yes, I have done this, and here's exactly how I did it. So that's what I'm handing to you, to walk alongside of you as your coach and help you build this the right way. Because the thing I'm seeing is a lot of people are not building the foundation right, and they're just kind of tacking and copying and pasting these AI workflows on top of the old structure of building a business. And it doesn't quite connect. And what they're doing, instead of spending time on mundane tasks like we're not supposed to be doing anymore, they're actually spending so much more time trying to fix their AI workflows and figure out what the AI agents are doing wrong because their output is not coming out the way they want it to. So it's just replacing the amount of time they're spending on manual tasks with trying to figure out why the AI is not coming out right or why the workflows are not processing the way they should be. And that's what I want to eliminate by building everything correctly from the ground up. And that's not a luxury. It's just infrastructure. So trying to build something new completely alone without a guide, without a community, or without a system, it's just not smart. It's not wisdom. And it's just hard. Honestly, it's just unnecessarily hard and harder for you. And you've been, I feel like, hard enough on yourself long enough. We don't need that to infiltrate whatever business you're trying to build here. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Okay. Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is actually a signal. And if you look at it that way, it's so different. It means something real is actually at stake when it shows up. It means you're close to something that actually matters. Because when does the enemy fight the hardest? when we're closest to that next level, when we're closest to the breakthrough, you will find that you always find obstacles and things that you never thought would happen will always happen around the time that God is moving you to the next level. But the enemy is trying to stop you. And the louder it gets, the more important it becomes to choose faith over it, not just once, but every single morning when you get up. You were not given that spirit of fear. You were given, what do we say? Power, right? Love, a sound mind, and a calling that did not expire just because life got complicated. So the woman on the other side of the yes that you haven't said yet, she is absolutely waiting for you. And God, as always, is never late. So if this episode spoke to you today, I need to be really specific with you right now, because this week is a phenomenal week and a big opportunity for you. The cart for Called to Coach, Built to Break Free is still open, okay? But it closes on Sunday, July 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the cohort for this first group of VIP women who are coming with me, it kicks off July 6th. That's Monday, July 6th. And you get access to the community. And we start with the weekly live group Q&A calls, and the modules will be dripped out on a weekly basis. So let me tell you exactly what you get, okay, when you walk through that door, because I don't want you making a decision based on like a vague description of what this is. I want you to know exactly what you're looking at. So here's what is inside Called to Coach, Built to Break Free. My program is really an annual group coaching mentorship, is what I like to call it, where you get me as your AI business coach for not just 90 days to build out the foundation of your coaching business, but you get me for an entire year, which I'm offering with this VIP member founding pricing. So you get 6 full phases of these faith-powered AI systems that I've created, all of it designed to walk you through building or rebuilding a complete operational AI-powered coaching business, step by step. We structure it in 90 minutes a day across 90 days. And that's even just 90 minutes a day for 5 days a week. It starts with the orientation where you get comfortable with AI fast. So even if you've never opened up ChatGPT before or used it in a business sense, you never opened Claude, Gemini, or any of the large language models, that's okay. You can start from ground zero in this program. If you have and you're more familiar with them, that's great too. But there's no tech degree required, okay? You meet Claude, you build your business, you build your AI brain using the master prompt method that I give you that I fully adapted for coaches. And you walk out of week 0 feeling like, okay, I can actually do this. I actually love AI and I can figure this out. Because phase 1 is your foundation. This is where you find your niche for your comeback story, because your mess really is your message, girl. It's probably the one thing you don't want to share with people, or the one thing that is on your heart that makes you cry, that you want to help other people with. You do your sacred time audit so you know exactly where your 90 minutes are coming from. You're going to build your AI command center so you stop running your business from inside your own head. We don't want that. And you'll lock in your 90-minute CEO weekly rhythm. So this becomes a really sustainable practice, not a 1-week sprint. Phase 2 is your AI-built online presence. This is the fun, flashy stuff, right? Your complete brand identity built with AI, your professional coaching website, professional quality brand photos, and a lead magnet that starts attracting your dream clients while you sleep. And then phase 3 is your automated client experience. This is where we delete the copy paste email folders, okay? Your intake forms, your contracts, your onboarding, automated. Your billing, automated. You're never chasing a payment again. Your full email system, written once, your sequences and running forever. And your AI inbox agent that handles the first layer of communication so you can really focus on coaching your clients and spending time with them and transforming their lives, and not just the administrative correspondence. Phase 4 is your AI content machine. This is so cool. I love this part because if you have a podcast or you even want to start one, a full 12-episode content roadmap can be built in one 90-minute session. You can have AI podcast production from raw audio to being published in under 30 minutes, an auto posting agent that will give you back hundreds of hours a year just for your social media posts alone. It's incredible. And this content batching system where one 90-minute session will feed your entire week and beyond. Phase 5 is really cool because this is where Full Life Freedom, we break free your group coaching program or your one-to-one coaching session offer, if you prefer to do that, is launched with an AI built sales page. I mean, it's crazy how quickly I will show you that this can be done now. Your 30-minute Monday CEO dashboard, which I absolutely love, where you can know your numbers, you can look at your KPIs without some sort of fancy finance degree. Your AI built income roadmap designed around actually replacing your current salary. If you're thinking about leaving your full-time job, we show you how to prepare for that and what it will take. And your Full Life Freedom schedule, as I like to say, designed around your real life and building out the future that you really, really have dreamed about. And then you'll get all that, but then you also get 7 bonus modules, okay? And we're going to look at things like taxes and bookkeeping for coaches, discovery calls that convert without feeling salesy. I'm going to show you how to do a lot of that. I spent a lot of time in sales, how to turn your podcast into your 24/7 sales team, all right? Collecting and using the client testimonials, DMs on social that convert while you sleep, the complete tech stack that I use, handing that to you so you see what makes the most sense for you. And the SEO Geo generator that makes sure your content is findable, which is so important on Google and in AI search, which is becoming more and more prominent now. So on top of all of that, you actually get weekly, the live group Q&A coaching calls for your first full year with me every single week. And if you can't make the coaching call, we'll have the replays. So it's 52 weeks you get me for this price, which is crazy. Everyone's like, are you sure this is what you're offering? Or I said, yes, but it's only for the VIP founding members. So please go and grab the link, take a look, and join us. It's going to be every week, hot seat coaching, real questions that are answered in real time. So you never get stuck and you're not navigating any of this alone, like I said before. And you get access to the full private midlife comeback club community where all of us women are rebuilding. We're saying yes when it's scary. We're doing the beautiful hard work of answering our calling. And these are your people. I'm telling you, I found the best friends of my life in these coaching communities. So access to the community chat to have your question answered is so valuable. And not only will I be in there, but also the other women that are in the group will be in there as well. So the VIP founding member price is an incredible offer for the full year. And there is also a 7-day satisfaction guarantee. So if you do the orientation the first week, you show up for a call and you submit your work, you show me all you've done, and you genuinely feel like it's not for you, I will make it right. That's my promise. So the modules are all going to be dripped out weekly. The link is in the show notes. It's loriannfeely.com/called to coach, built to break free. So go there, read every word. And if your heart says yes, I'm just asking you to trust it, because you don't have to figure it out alone and you were not meant to. And I really want to help you through it. So I want to thank you so much for being with me here today. If this episode met you like in a moment of hesitation you've been having, or if you've been sitting on a yes that fear has been working overtime to talk you out of, please send this to a girlfriend who needs to hear it too. Because sometimes, the permission that we're waiting for comes through someone who loves us enough just to share the thing that scared them, and have your friend join you too. And let's do this together, because my mission is a movement really to help women adopt AI so they're not left behind in this new AI world we're living in. Because I'm telling you, the wealth gap is widening as we speak. And more jobs for women are being replaced by AI, not in a year, like they're saying, not in 2 years, but right now. I have friends all across the board who have lost their jobs in the last 6 months and are ironically coming to me now. I always admired them because they had these wonderful careers in the corporate world that I always admired. And I was always the entrepreneur doing her own thing. And now all of those people are coming to me saying, how do I learn how to build what you've built? Because the times have changed and you have to learn how to be an entrepreneur in this day and age. And so I'm so passionate about helping women get ahead and learn these AI skills, because this is why you need a program to learn them for your future, and so that you can leave a legacy for your family and your children, and to live the full life freedom that you want to have for the rest of your life. This is the answer. The opportunity has never existed like it does now with AI. And I know you can do this. I have all the confidence in the world that if you have the right guide, you're going to be able to do this. So let me leave you with this. Fear is loud, but God is always louder. You are not built to stay small because the path forward felt uncertain. You were built to walk in faith. Like we said, with power, with love, and with a very sound mind. So until next time, I want you to keep putting God first, your family second. And now the AI faith-powered systems are here. And I will catch you back here on Thursday, but don't miss it, okay? Because doors close to my brand new program on Sunday, July 5th at 11:59 p.m. EST. And that's a hard stop. So I will never be offering all the things inside this program that I'm offering now with all of the bells and whistles for the VIP founding members at this price point. So take advantage of it. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next time. Hey girl, I hope today's episode gave you a little faith, a little fire, and maybe even a next step you didn't have when you pressed play. So if it did, would you take 30 seconds and share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear this right now? And if this podcast has been speaking to your heart, I would absolutely love it if you'd leave me a quick review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps this show reach more midlife women just like you who are ready to start building the life God actually designed them for. So until next time, keep choosing faith over fear, and don't you dare give up on your next chapter. I'll see you back here really soon.